Hi there, welcome to Tottenham. Let's talk Tottenham. Very good start there. Let's talk Tottenham. This is the Friday lunch hour, joined with blimey, I can't even talk. I'll put my teeth back in. Joined by Brian Daigle. How you doing, Brian?
I'm good. I thought you were going to Tottenham on tour from the beginning there. I thought you were going to say welcome to Tottenham on tour. But yeah, no, it's good to be back on streams with you, Chris, buddy. It's all good.
Yeah, great to have you on as always. Please hit the like, please hit the subscribe, notification bell, get your comments, questions in. A lot to talk about, as always, with Tottenham during pre-season. And then make sure you check out Tottenham on Tour. Brian will let you know at the end what you can expect on there. First things first, still not resolved this Kane situation. It's come out now that he, whether this is true, expects to be staying at Spurs this season if he starts against Brentford in, was it about 9 days, couple of weeks, give or take. I think that's a fairly safe bet that he's going to start against Brentford, because if he was going to go, he'd have gone by now. I said when you were on last time, which was on Monday, I do fear this could be a Berbatov situation, sold for big money right at the end. I'm not sure. What are your feelings about it? Will he stay this season? Will he start against Brentford? Will it be a Berbatov situation? Will he go before them? What you're thinking?
So just to add an added twist on it, it's breaking like wildfire at the moment in the last hour that Bayern Munich have upped the ante and set a deadline of midnight tonight. Right. Whether it's true, whether it's not, is open for interpretation. I will put it this way. I expect by the end of this transfer window, Harry Kane to be wearing a Bayern Munich shirt. I'm convinced. I think there's all of a sudden these deals are coming through, kind of like Gareth Bale money, spending it beforehand. Also with this 19-year-old and welcoming him, it's looking like he's coming directly. They wanted him on loan till the end of the the year.
Oh, is he not going back on there? I did see that, but it was
speculation. Spurs have said no. It's a full-time deal from now. Unfortunately, I think before Brentford, Harry Kane is wearing a Bayern Munich shirt. I'm afraid to say I don't want it to happen. I really, really don't want it to happen. But this has just gone, and all of a sudden, we're spending money or trying to spend money. There's no coincidence.
No, I mean, with Bayern Munich setting a deadline, it's taken their time, but that's what big clubs do, don't they?
Correct.
But why they've taken so long? But again, if they don't, they can set all the deadlines they want. But if they're not offering what Daniel Levy wants, then he probably won't be going anywhere. But I agree with you. I don't think he'll be starting against Brentford. And to be honest, if it's a choice between going to Bayern Munich for money now or going to maybe a Chelsea, Man United for free next season, as much as I don't want him to go, this would be the lesser of two evils for me.
You're spot on. And can you blame him?
No.
Can you blame him? We've let him down. Listen, he's made a lot of money at Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur, he's done wonderful things. He'll go down as a legend. He's our record goal scorer. But he said all along, match my ambitions, I stay at this football club. And I think we can clearly say that we have not matched his ambitions.
I mean, I fully expect as well, if he goes to Bayern Munich, give it 3 years or so, once he's won the Bundesliga a few times, whatever their German Cup is, possibly a Champions League, he'll finish his career at Tottenham, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe not finish his career, if he plays till 40, where he can't cut it in the Premier League, going down a few divisions. But I definitely expect him to be back at Spurs. I don't think we've seen the last of him in a Spurs shirt. And if he gets his trophies at Bayern Munich, obviously the media will go, "Oh, you had to go and do it in a league where you'd already won the league anyway." But no one mentions that to people like Jack Grealish now, when Man City are the only real team in the league. I know Arsenal ran them close last year, but Man City been there, done there, got the T-shirt. Good luck to him if he goes. He deserves trophies. What he's done. It's just a pity that we couldn't heed his warnings a bit earlier. But
indeed, we'll have to wait and see whether this is true from what Bayern or what we're being told, that Bayern have set the clock at midnight tonight. Harry Kane has obviously set the clock at kick-off against Brentford. We will see. Do I expect it to go through as quickly as tonight? No. Do I expect it to go through before Brentford? Yes.
Yeah. As long as it's not a Berbatov situation, obviously I want to keep him there, but you know as well as I do, if someone doesn't want to be there, there's no point keeping them regardless of who they are. You know, Ronaldo didn't want to be at Man United. He wanted to go to Madrid. Ferguson, okay, off you go. With the best will in the world, they will still have a negative impact. What do you think in the chat, though? It'd be interesting what you think. Will Kane leave? Will he stay? Will it be a Berbatov situation? Will the deadline that Bayern have put in, that Brian's just mentioned, be heeded by Levy? What will happen? And who will replace him up top? For me, I think it will be Richarlison. I don't think he'll go out and buy another top striker. And then maybe Tony in January, once his man has been lifted. Obviously, he'll be severely match unfit. But,
Like I said, we won't be buying another striker. We brought this Argentinian in, the 19-year-old. And that's not the replacement, but it's an added person. It will be Richarlison. There's no way.
And he does play better up front, doesn't he? Everton, he kept him in the league.
Yeah.
Brazil, he looks like a striker. So, and I've predicted that Richarlison will prove a lot of people wrong next season. Whether Kane stays or not, whether that's going to happen or not, we don't know. But that's my prediction.
We shall have to wait and see. We shall have to wait and see. Now, look, listen, what we can say is wherever you stand on this, there is never, ever, ever a dull moment as a Tottenham Hotspur fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Couple of comments. What's the point, FC? VDV over the line. I haven't seen that yet, but I think that's fairly going to happen. We'll talk about him next. I don't like Kane playing for Tuchel. Don't think it will work. Tuchel was terrible in the Premier League. Very average manager. Did win the Champions League, which I would imagine Kane wants the Champions League more than Bundesliga. And Ian Meth, how you doing in? Let's be positive. Let's be positive. Van de Ven, very close. Why it's taken this long? I think we know why, but it's a defender, and it's not a defender who is called Clement Longley, which is very, very key for me, because if he comes, what is the point? I'm not talking about the guy in the chat. I'm talking about what is the actual point. If we go and get a player and keep the same defence that conceded 63, 64 goals, the only difference, Loris is out. But Van de Ven, very quick, young. I'd prefer Tapsoba as well. And what's the point? I said he's watched the latest Tottenham training video and they all look very happy as well. So that's good if true. And the deal is done for VDV. But Van de Ven, good signing.
Fantastic signing.
Not quite yet, or yeah, fantastic.
But listen, the way I looked at it with all these defenders is, since my second favourite Spurs player of all time, Jan Vertonghen, has left the club, we have not had a decent, good, left-sided centre-back. Van de Ven, at 21, 22 years old, as quick as lightning, left-footed, big, strong, powerful, will only improve. I think out of all the sides, listen, Tapsoba is probably number one for everyone.
Yeah.
And rightly so, because of how good he is. But to me, the biggest important thing was get a left-sided centre-back. Like you said, that was not called Clement Longley. That was key to it. If Clement Longley had signed, there would have been an absolute Tottenham on tour. We're ready to go on live immediately and go on a 6, 7, 8 hour stream of me and Ben Kaufman just going absolutely nuts. I am very happy with this deal once it's finally got the here we go. The last thing we heard was Fabrizio Romano wouldn't say the words. He said, just waiting to be given the final green light, which is a brand new one for him to just delay this. We're waiting for the final green light is a new one for Fabrizio. But yeah, this deal will get done. This deal is done.
And he gets at least 2 pre-season games as well, which is good. He's not signed literally at the last door, and his first day on the job is a Premier League game. He gets a little bit of preparation. What's the point? It said £43 million. Ian, Longley, no improvement on Davies. VDV very fast, which is crucial to Angie Ball. Ian's a very big Celtic fan as well, so knows quite a lot about Ange and how he plays. So I'll trust Ian on that.
Yep.
Very much so. What's the point? We'll have most of the possession against less teams, so we need quick defenders to get the ball out and cut out trouble and create long legs. But yeah, I'm pleased with it. If we can get Tap sober as well, I think, because I think with Ange, we're going to attack teams. Certainly in the pre-season, from what I've seen, we're going to attack teams and score a lot of goals. If we can shore that defence up, no Europe, so one game a week generally, and a real opportunity to have a real cup run, we can surprise a few teams, but we have to get that defence sorted out. And if we can sort that out, Van der Ven is obviously a big part. Well, as long as it does happen, and Fabrizio says the three magic words.
Yep.
Tap sober would be unbelievable as well with Romero there, and then that puts Dier down the pecking order in I don't know, fourth choice. But yeah, at least we're getting a defender now. We just need that other one, and I think we can have a real good season. But yeah, do you think we'll get Tap sober? When I said that, you kind of sniggered, so I'm assuming.
Yes. So first of all, going back to Van der Ven, he won't get two pre-season. He'll sign today, but he'll be presented against Shakhtar. I highly doubt he'll play. He could do. I don't know. He would. I would imagine.
We've got two after Shakhtar, haven't we?
Barcelona. We've got Barcelona, and then that's it. Barcelona. And then it's Brentford. Yeah, Tap sober is at least we tried FC. That's not happening. Tosin, who I'm a big fan of, could happen. Ashley Phillips, who I really want. I really want Ashley Phillips. He is going to be a star.
But he's presumably going to be signed and then loaned straight back to Blackburn. I wouldn't have thought that he'll come
even
straight
if he is,
in.
mate, even if he's loaned to a Premier League club, even if he's loaned anywhere. These are the kind of players we need to get signed, sealed, delivered on Tottenham's books, and then let them develop. If him and Dorrington can spend a lot of time together in training, there's a partnership ready for Spurs' future. I really want Ashley Phillips. I just think Tap sober is just not going to happen. It's the name to chuck out there. And it's not going to happen. Would love him, don't get me wrong. I just can't see it. But I am a big fan of Tosin, and I'm a huge fan of Ashley Phillips.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point? FC has said Tap sober would only come if we sold Romero.
Yeah.
Not sure about it. But anyway, remember one reason, Ian's here, one reason we can see the 63 goals, a lot of pressure was put on them by Conte's crap tactics. That's true. VDV and Phillips will be it for this window. And would Tosin want to play second fiddle? And we'll come on to this guy as well from What's the Point FC. Now that the new 19-year-old Argentinian striker has no fear, he's an out-and-out striker who's only got one thing on his mind, putting the ball in the back of the net. This was a new one on me. I woke up to this morning. It came out of kind of nowhere. Allegio Veliz. I'm assuming I've butchered the name. Rosario Central is where he's from. 50 million euro is what I saw from Fabrizio. I did see that they wanted him loaned back, but Brian's mentioned that we've said no. 19-year-old, fairly raw, but what's the point? FC said that age, no fear at all. And if he just wants to shoot and score goals, it's just a pity that Kane won't be there to learn off, because what a player to learn off. But I would expect him to be either Kane's or Richarlison's understudy. And playing the cup games, 60 minutes in, when hopefully we're a few goals to the good. What do you make of him, and how do you think he'll fit into our season?
I'll be absolutely serious. For me, this is Danny Rose Google settings all over it, but that's not me dismissing him as a player. Listen, we've been saying that we want to go down the Brighton way of doing things, of identifying talent, and finding these players and turning them into stars. And then we can't want that. And then when we do it, go, oh my God, he's cheap. Oh my God, we don't know him. Oh, who is he? Whatever. I've seen different people say Messi has called him the next Suarez or the next Aguero. And it's like, whoa. That I mean, they are bold names to say. And this kid is a 19-year-old. 19. Remember that. He comes here. Listen, from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of potential with this guy. A lot of potential, and he could do well. I'm happy with bringing in, and we've tapped into this market. and it could be an inspired bit of business, but we need to keep our feet on the ground and let him and not go. I hate it when we go, oh, he's the next this. Like when Andros Townsend started showing promise, like, oh, that's the next Gareth Bale. It's like, whoa. Calm down. Don't put the pressure on these guys. But like I said, it looks data driven. It looks like Gabardini has been all over this, and he's got a real talent for identifying talent. So I welcome this kind of transfer. I really do.
Yeah, be interested to see where he fits in. What's the point? FC has said gets into good possessions. You can't teach that. Anthony Herbert, Arsenal fan. How you doing, buddy? I think you'll have a steady club this season, maybe an 8th finish, but I think Maddison is the missing link of the chain. Not sure what he means by that. But Ian, where does Scarlett fit in if we buy the Argentinian? I think he'll go on loan again. He's only had one season of first-team football. I think he'll go on. He's still, was he 18 or was he 19 now? I can't remember.
He'll be turning 19.
Yeah, so I think he'll go on loan again, regardless if Kane went and we didn't get this Argentinian, he might come in. But certainly with this Argentinian that looks like he's coming in, I think he'll be on loan again. Championship, maybe even a lower Premiership club. But yeah, I think he'll definitely be on loan.
For me, with him, what I would rather see with him is you got to remember on the coaching staff now we have Jermaine Defoe.
Yes,
I would love him to spend 6 months constantly with Jermaine Defoe, learning off him, and then the second part of the season, if need be, going out on loan. He hasn't had the opportunity. When you've got someone that's got the predatory instincts of Jermaine Defoe at the club. And we've seen with people like Yaya Toure who haven't stayed long because other opportunities have come here. When you've got someone as lethal as Jermaine Defoe, surely you can learn more for 6 months, assessing him and having him run through his paces, and then maybe a loan. Listen, if he goes out on loan, I think we've got to say he's got to get more first-team football. At Portsmouth, it started that way, then he was in and out. But I think with him working alongside Jermaine Defoe. And you've got to remember as well, the other way to look at this, if Harry Kane stays, and he is only staying for 1 year, do you not want someone like Dane Scarlett being around Harry Kane, Jermaine Defoe and the other strikers as much as possible to take in everything that Harry can offer him and then deciding what to do with him? So Dane Scarlett's a tricky one. I've got great faith in him. I think he'll turn out to be a great striker. But I think time with Jermaine Defoe, and especially if Harry Kane stays, spending some time with Harry before he'll walk out on a free is the best. Is what I would look at with him. But it also depends what Dane wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, he might just want to play football, might he? So
exactly.
Yeah, and then going back to the Argentinian, bit tall, strong, plays with no fear, which is all the hallmarks of a great striker. Broad, big, wide chest, 6 foot tall. So same as Harry Kane, and he's powerful. And he muscles grown men out of the game, very much like Kane, but very raw at the moment, kind of how Kane was when he started. He's going back to his club until January, but
no,
that's changed now.
I've been told completely it's out of hand. He's coming to Tottenham.
That suggests that he's going to play a part in the season.
Things may change, but I have been told that this is straight up. He's coming to Tottenham for now.
Yeah, and interesting comment from Ian here. Do you boys think that Kane isn't ideal for Angie Ball, given his contract situation now is the time to sell? Son could play central striker too, very similar to Kyogo, who scored bucket loads for Celtic. I think whether Kane's suited for Angie Ball or not, you want someone with that quality staying at your club. And we've seen how he's adapted from being a number 9 to now a number 10 and now a number 9.5, if you like. I don't think he'd have any problem slotting into Angie Ball. But yeah, Son has said that, hasn't he, that he's playing out wide again, which to me says that that's because of Maddison. Maddison, very similar to Eriksen. Eriksen would get the ball, ping it 50 yards straight to Son's feet, one-on-one, skin him. Someone has to come out of position, game opens up. So I think Ange has seen Maddison can do that. Son is very tricky, still got his pace, still got his trickery.
Yep.
So I'm not sure Son would play central striker unless injuries happened. I would think it's either going to be Kane or Richarlison. But Ian's question there, do you think Kane isn't ideal for Angie Ball? Would you thoughts on that?
Listen, people like Harry Kane can do anything. We've seen how good they are and what they can do. But what I would say in support of Ian's comment is right now is probably with Ange and his system the most seamless way to recover after Harry Kane, because beforehand everything was Harry Kane through Harry Kane through Harry Kane through Harry Kane. As Ian will know from the Celtic support that he has, Ange has his goals coming from all over the place. Ange isn't just one main striker that chips in with most of the goals. The style of football is everyone around the offensive line or the attacking part chipping with goals. Richarlison's better for the press and the work rate. Don't get me wrong, Richarlison ain't in the same league as Harry Kane, but for the style of play, I believe is better suited for it. So I think if we've got rid of Harry Kane when Nuno came, and then obviously Conte, or during the Jose time, or even the Poch time, we would have been screwed. We would have been absolutely screwed. This style of play, I think, is going to the most, like I said, easiest transition without him, which we're going to have to learn at some point. But don't get it wrong, I would rather Harry Kane was in this team than not.
Yeah. Got a question here from What's the Point? Who's coming to Tottenham, Brian?
If
Van
that's
Ben, obviously the Argentinian guy.
Van de Ven, Phillips, done, and then it's who goes out for me.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because the one that's been doing all the rounds is Hojberg off to Atletico. I think they value him at 30. We obviously value him at more. Region's been linked away. Ndombele's been linked away with a £15 million move. I can't remember where.
Turkey.
Yeah, Sanchez, but not keen to move to Russia, which I can understand that. But yeah, what are the other further and ins and outs? Mainly the outs would you like to see? Because I think the ins are fairly done now, aren't they? Where Van de Ven, the Argentinian guy, Phillips, maybe Tapsoba, but probably not. But yeah, the outs that you'd like to see. And
yeah, I mean, listen, Pierre Hojberg, I do love my Pierre. I do really love. Hojberg has been my favourite player the last few seasons. Last season he dwindled off a bit, but he got a lot of unfair criticism. So well. But for me, I think I said this on your show on Monday. Pierre-Emile Hojberg is the prototype Diego Simeone player. There is not a player that I can think that is more suited in that position for what he does than that man. So I think it depends whether it gets done. If it does, listen, I wish him well and everything. Davinson Sanchez, I pray to God, does not go to Russia. And forget the footballing aspect. He got a horrible amount of abuse during the Bournemouth game or whatever. Yeah, I think it was the Bournemouth game. Yeah, it was the Bournemouth game. And that was from our supporters for his football skills. He goes to Russia, and I think we know where this could go. I do not want him to go to Russia. It's typical, though, in the week building up to, or the weeks building up to a game against a benefit for the Ukraine, he's dealing with Russia. Just shows it's just typical with this man. Ndombele, what I would say is apparently the deal is about 12 to 15 million.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Now, you're going to hear me say something, and you don't get to hear it very often, so grab it whilst you can.
Well, this will go on the preview, so
if I'd rather it wouldn't go on the preview, mate. I really rather, because what I'm about to say is, if we're about to take a huge hit on that, well done Tottenham Hotspur and well done Daniel Levy for taking the hit. It's been way too long where you've overpriced players, you've let players go stale, earning big wages, only to get nothing from them. So if we are prepared to take a huge hit on him, then well done. Well done. I think Lo Celso has done more than enough to say, right, he's worthy of at least till January to see if he can continue the pre-season form. So Regulon, do you know what? I can't make my mind up with him. I can't make my mind up with him because also you look at it. I'm liking what we see from Udogie. I'm loving what we see from him. I don't want Sessegnon to be playing, but I also have been very impressed with Perisic playing up top, and I don't want it to see him being used as a left wing back, or sorry, a left back in the back four. So I still can't make my mind. If Reguilon goes, I think we have to buy another left back, and I don't want us to.
I think potentially anyway because we've got on the right we've got Emerson. He is a full back. That's how we bought him. That's how he played at Barcelona. We played him as a wing back, and he didn't really adapt. Porro is not a defender; he cannot defend.
Correct.
Jed Spence, not sure about him. Who was it? Brad, I think it was on the show on Monday, was saying that apparently he's got bad attitude. Left back, Ben Davies, but Ben Davies, Udogie, I think is good, so he's fine. Sessegnon's injured, but always injured. Perisic plays up top. Reguilon, not that great defensively either. I'm not really sure about our fullback situation because I don't think there's many players there that fit the role of a fullback, which is someone who goes forward and can cross ball, but can also, crucially, defend. So correct. I think we need another one as well. Maybe Van der Ven means that Ben Davies is surplus to requirements in centre back, so he is a full-time fullback, but he's lost his pace. He can defend, but going forward...
Lost his pace? When did he find his pace?
Well, when he was about 7.
Okay, cool. When he was doing the egg and spoon race.
But yeah, so I worry about, and was it what's the point, FC? I can't remember who said it in the chat with Van der Ven. We'll have a lot of the ball, so we need someone quick. If he's the only one.
Yeah.
I mean, Udogie's probably fairly quick. Emerson's got a really good engine, but all it needs is a couple of injuries in those 3 aspects, and then we've lost all our defensive pace again. So I don't really know what his plan is unless he can somehow in a month convert Porro into a defensive fullback. Same with Reguilon. But yeah, I'm not really sure on that one.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Listen, I am. Emerson deserves a lot of credit for the way he handled the abuse, the way he handled. I think he ended the season very well. Apart before he picked up his injury, then only came back for the last couple of games. I think we'll see a better Emerson than we did last season. Some people will say that's not going to be hard, but I think after the Fulham game onwards, big up my brother from Toronto, Bobby.
How you doing, buddy?
Miss that man so much. You have no idea. One of the most wonderful men you could ever wish to meet. And
well, he's all right, isn't he?
No, mate, he's more than mate. That guy is a very, very important part of my life, and I miss him terribly. Of course,
love Bobby K and the 3 Spurs boys. Quality.
I'm confident with him. Jed Spence is the one. He's got all the potential in the world. He's now going to be a right back. Are we going to see it?
Yeah.
Are we going to see it? So that we're going to have to wait and see. But the most important thing, like we said, is Van der Ven looks like it's pretty much we are just waiting for not a green light, the final green light, not the final countdown, not the we're creeping, we're crawling, we're flirting, we're attempting. We are just waiting for the here we go. And then
I don't think it's far off, though, is it really?
Yeah, neither do I.
Yeah, a couple of comments on the fullback situation. What's the point? Reguilon has to go. Not a good defender. Always gets caught in 2 minds.
I can see that.
Interesting here. Porro will take Kulu's place on the wing. Madness giving Kulu a 5-year contract doesn't suit Ange football at all. I wouldn't mind Porro out on the wing. He scored a lot of goals. Looked a real threat. Can take a free kick as well. We've now got Maddison, so we've got a couple of people there. Ian says, Spence perfect for Ange, but you have to ask why Boris sent him to Forest. The attitude issue isn't something Ange will tolerate. I haven't really seen him in pre-season at all. Someone said he was injured. I think that might be Brad on Monday. What's the point? Emerson, class act. Brilliant defender. That's all I want. Not great good going forward, but Ange will improve him. I have to say, a lot of players last year, you've alluded to this, Brian, would have just said, fuck this. I get paid a fortune. I don't care. He spent a load of money on trying to improve. always put a shift in, regardless of whether he's good or not or anything like that. You've got to admire the attitude, certainly in this day and age where he is earning enough money now that he could just jack it in tomorrow, set for life. But he doesn't want to. He wants to play football. He wants to improve. And yeah, I really like Emerson. I just hope what's the point is right when Ange will improve him. Bobby K, thanks, Brian. I'm a wanker. I've been called that before. I've been called a lot worse on streams and everything like that. But how you doing, Bobby? Emerson has heart. He lights up training with his smile and works very hard. Ian said, here we go. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I've just checked. Fabrizio Morano hasn't said it. So I'm just checking. But what I will say is, mate, this was Bobby K. I have to say, this was at least we tried FC written all over it. It was never a deal to happen. It was just like mouthpiece. But what I will say is I completely, totally, and I have said for a while, with what's the point that Porro is no right back. He should be rivaling Kulusevski for that right wing place. As soon as he moved up top for the final few games of the season, you saw a different player. You saw
the confidence that I don't need to defend. I just need to track back and help out every now and then, rather than be focused on.
He could be huge. I don't so much agree with the Kulusevski 5-year contract part that he said. I think there is Kulu will adapt and improve, but I'm totally with him. That I would go if I had to go into the Brighton, the Brentford game. Right, if I had to pick the team right now and I was Ange, I'm putting Porro ahead of Kulusevski.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Kulu's young. He had a real good first half of the season when he came to a second half of the season. Sorry, he's young. Everyone goes through bad periods of form. It's up to him to turn it round, isn't it? But you can't carry passengers in this, and Porro's done enough to warrant that starting place. And Kulu's job is now to throw him out. Jimmy Hendricks, how you doing, buddy? Kane heading to Bayern for the fee of 88 million. Finally, we can move on. Thank you, Kane, for everything. Good luck. It's probably not a bad deal if that's the case. 88 million for a 29, 30-year-old, 1 year left on his contract, 6 months away from being able to talk to any European club for transfer free. And he doesn't, let's face it, we ain't playing Bayern Munich for a long time unless we're playing a friendly or another Audi Cup. So he ain't going to cause us any problems. And I think by the time we are in the Champions League, if we get back in, he'll be back at Spurs because I think he'd have got the winning side done. And then he'll be back off. Here we go is when Brian said what we want to hear. And Bobby K, how can we as fans not expect to be bantered because of the way our club operates? So frustrating. Right. And that moves nicely on. Well, I say nicely, the Shakhtar game, but there's more important issues. It's the protest for the season, the ticket price protest. I said on Monday, it doesn't affect me at all because I'm a season ticket holder, but it doesn't mean just because something doesn't affect you doesn't mean you can't be angry about it. And it's ludicrous. I don't really, and not just the fact that we were terrible last season and the prices are high anyway, and the cost of living crisis is just, I don't really know. I mean, I know why it's been done. It's to generate more money for the pockets of the people who get the money and the dividends. But I just don't understand how they can justify it, really. So Terry Wright in the chat. How you doing, Terry?
Big up, Terry, brother. Big up, my man.
But I know there's a protest going on opposite Club Shop before the Shakhtar game, so I know you'll be a big part of that. So anyone who wants to join the protest, I'm happy about the ticket prices. Brian will tell you all you need to know.
Let's just say, look, listen. I've had enough of hearing fans going, "Oh, well, every team have upped like their prices. It's the way of business. It's the cost of living crisis. It's the way of the world. You're doing this and blah blah blah." Well, not all teams have just come off their worst season in recent history. Not all teams were in Europe and the creme de la creme European competition last season, the Champions League, and now offer no European football. Not all teams offer the highest price match day tickets in the country in Europe. Fulham have got overtaken us now with season tickets, but we are being given a worse product, but expected to pay more. it's totally unacceptable. People got to remember, people know my stance. I don't need to go into the who, what, why, when. They know where I am. But it's not just because what goes on the pitch. It's the way the fans are treated. The way, and this protest that we're doing on Sunday, like I said, is absolutely nothing to do with Levy out, ENIC out. There will be none of the banners out, which resemble obviously the Levy out movement. This is solely about people that are coming to this game and bringing their family from across the country or local, because it's the only game because of the cheaper tickets that they can afford to bring them. Yeah. I had so many fans.
Says it here, trying to price the working class fans out of the stadium. Obvious. Yep. Just disgraceful.
Yep, and we'd had enough. There's a lot of people that messaged me saying, Brian, we're coming down to this game. We don't go to Premier League games. Is the people you protest with and yourself going to be there? And then we started thinking, and then it got to the point, it's like, what perfect place to protest about the price of tickets than a game that people are trying to get to because it's the cheapest one and one they can justify and afford to spend taking their family out. And like I said, this is not going to be shouting and screaming Levy out. This isn't going to be the banners out. This is going to be a peaceful protest about the tickets. Obviously, I announced it on Sunday on Tottenham on Tour with a pop-up. Then we put the artwork out on Monday. Then Stell was mentioning that me and him had some news to break. And Tuesday, the Trust came out with this. And now other supporters clubs, supporters trusts are doing likewise. So we will be there. We will be there from 11:30 till around kick-off time or just before kick-off time. And then we're hoping to go to a pub that may be having the game on show. Not going into the stadium, I won't. So if you are coming down and you haven't got a ticket, hopefully we're going to go to one of the pubs and watch it. Feel free to come and join us. But yeah, this one is all about the price of matchday tickets alone. We're not going to moan about transfers. We're not going to moan about 23 years, blah, blah, blah. This is matchday tickets only. And the cost of living crisis and how we're being offered, having to pay for more for a lesser product, or people are. I won't pay, obviously. And we see where it goes. And then obviously at the Man U game, the Trust will be doing theirs and we will be doing ours.
Yeah, so absolutely. If you are at the game, Shakhtar, unhappy about the ticket prices, you're one of these people who can't afford to go to Premier League games, go join Brian opposite the club shop. I think that's the south stand, isn't it? Opposite is the north stand. Yeah, go. You'll see him there and see a lot of people there. So come and join in. No Levy out stuff. Just ticket.
Yeah, even if you don't agree with it and you just want to come and say hello, we're not a bad bunch. We don't, just because you may not agree with us, we're not going to then declare war or anything. It'll be nice to talk to people and have a discussion about where people's stance is, which we had a lot of people doing at the end of last season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So get yourself down there, go and have a chat with Brian, Stell. I'm not sure who else is there, but there'll be
a few of us. There'll be a few. Stell won't be there, unfortunately. He's away for the weekend. So it'll be me, Ryan,
and
there'll be a few of us. There'll be a good fair few of us.
Yeah, excellent. And yeah, back to the football. There's a lot of from what's the point? Alex Scott.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about the pundit. She won't join us. She's an Arsenal fan. But Alex Scott, can't remember where he's playing.
Against Bournemouth by the looks of it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, saying Levy should sign him. He'll be worth 100 million in 3 years' time. Pep's a big fan of him. Thoughts on him?
Again, so obviously the channels I go on, and I go on a fair few, and obviously my own one. What's the point? I get to see on quite a fair few of them. And yeah, we've discussed that in. So I am again in total, utter agreement with What's the Point FC. This guy is a star. Not only is this guy a star, he is a Tottenham Hotspur diehard fan.
Oh, right.
This is a deal where whatever ball. See, I've said this before, and I still think there may be something to it. I know I said VDV and Phillips. I honestly reckon that the way we might be doing it, What's the Point, is we know if we come into that race, he chooses us. He'll go like Spurs are after me. So maybe what I think, and I'm hoping the club are just kind of what Liverpool did with us with Luis Diaz.
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to let Bournemouth, or I think Wolves are interested as well, to generate the price. Then I think we might swoop. That's what I'm hoping. I really am hoping, because I am in total agreement with this kid is going right to the very top. And you've got to look at it. And I am going to compare him. And I think what's the point? Remember, I said this when people said he mentioned this £100 million player, and then someone rubbished him straight away, going, "Oh no, he's not a £100 million player. What the hell are you talking about? He's this old." And then my response to that was, "Well, what's the point? Is right. Who would have thought Jude Bellingham will be a £105 million player going to Real Madrid via Birmingham? Who would have thought Jadon Sancho would have been a £96 million player going from Dortmund to Manchester United? Just because these players are either in the Manchester City Youth Academy or Birmingham, and in this case Bristol City, just because they start at Bristol City doesn't mean they can't be in a few years a £100 million player." So for me, just like what's the point said, Alex Scott is a must, and I'm hoping what I'm thinking is what we're doing.
Yeah, maybe what Terry says here could happen. Oh no, that's Ian's. Maybe we need the Kane money to buy Scott, says Ian. But Terry says Hojberg out, Alex Scott in.
Could be again. That could be.
Yeah, I mean, there's discussion at the moment from what I saw anyway. Atletico say 30 million, we say more. So I can't imagine there'll be any compromise there. It's either do what Levy says or you don't get him. But
I guarantee it's 5 million a part, because it's always 5 million a bloody part. Every single deal is always 5 million. And you know what? The other thing that annoys me with it is just like Terry was saying, maybe Hojberg out, him in. If you're getting, if you know you've got someone coming out, why are we always the club that get the player out before we bring him in? If you know Hojberg is like 95% going, and that money's coming in, go get Alex Scott and then recuperate. Yeah. Like we did with Ericsson when we're trying to get Fernandes in. It was like, we need to get rid of him. We need to get rid of him before. If you're getting the money back up, listen, football works in mysterious ways. And like I said, what's the point is, I completely agree with you, mate. I think if we miss out on him, we are really, really, really going to be kicking ourselves in the teeth in years to come, because he is a top talent.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. What have we got? We've still got another 7 days until the end of the window, so still a lot of time. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, last thing before we head off. Brad, you had to jump off early on Monday, so you didn't get a chance to ask you this, but what are your hopes and predictions for the coming season for Spurs? I think Villa could be a real dark horse this season. If their back line gets figured out, though, they could have issues because they do play a high line. But going forward in the signings they've made, a very impressive array of signings. For us, no European football. Potentially our best player, potentially ever, leaving. No European football, completely new system. We will, I'm putting my neck on the line here, we will be entertained this season. There'll be none of this dross that we had last season in big chunks. But it all depends for me on the defence, whether we can keep teams out. I think any Spurs fan who thinks, we'll get in top 4, I think that's probably more wishful thinking than and leading with your heart rather than your head. I think top 6 is achievable. And a cup. You know, there's no excuse now to not go for one of the cups if you get a good luck anyway. Like last year when we had Sheffield United, we obviously had games dotted around that, whereas we shouldn't have that this season. So
okay, let me just tell you, I've just been tweeted something, or someone just sent me a link to a tweet. Romero has tweeted 3 minutes ago, Harry Kane deadline day. Sources close to the negotiation expect final decision today for Kane deal, described as in or out with FT Bayern. Oh, God. All parties waiting for Daniel Levy to communicate his decision today. I said it at the beginning, I think this is done. Whether it gets done today...
He's all about the money, isn't he? So if he's got either have the money or you don't, he's more likely, you would have thought, to take the money.
This is, honestly, this is...
it's real now.
Yeah, no, it's not even that it's real. Listen, this is the saga that hasn't gone away. we have failed Harry Kane. Harry Kane hasn't failed us. Apart from, obviously, we can also not turn up in the final, but for 9 years, he has been the poster boy. For 9 years, he has been the star. Without him, we wouldn't have got to finals, semi-finals. We wouldn't have a record goal scorer, or we would. It just wouldn't be him. And unfortunately, this is where we are right now. I think people, and I hate to say this, start getting ready to wave goodbye to the icon. The compilation
video. It's just a cheerio and see you later. I think he'll be back in 3 years.
Either that, the compilation videos will be coming out left, right, and centre very shortly. I ended last season saying that's it, he's gone. Then it went quiet, and I kind of started coming over to the side of he's staying. But for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I have not moved, and I'm not going to. I think we are enjoying the final few hours before everyone is about to go live, and everyone is about to, because I unfortunately think we have seen Harry Kane in a Spurs shirt for the very final time. And I hate saying that. I hate saying it. Yeah. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is that we've had our top players leave before. Berbatov, Bale, Modric, and we've done okay without them. And at some point, in the next 5-6 years, if he'd have stayed, he'd have retired anyway, and we'd have been without Harry Kane. So it's time to move on. And it stops us being reliant on just one player, although with Angie Ball, he's reliant on multiple players anyway, regardless of who's there. But what I do worry about is Sky Sports transfer news, because if Kane does leave, they're made redundant, because that's all they ever bloody talk about on there for the last 5 years. So I don't know what they do with it. Who are they going to talk about, Dane Scarlett might go on loan. Big news.
Yeah, you're looking at it again. The way I look at this again is the way this club has handled it. The way, again, there's a lack of a plan. Again, we're a week away from the season where Harry Kane has been training and they've been playing the way Harry Kane. It has just been a waste of time. It's just there's no plan. There's no plan. Like any other team, like when Van der Sar signed his last contract at Man U, and I keep using this one, they said this 2 years we are scouting the next number one for Manchester United, and we're going to spend this 2 years narrowing this search down and obviously come up with De Gea, who has been a wonderful, wonderful servant for that football club. Obviously, he's left. There's no planning here. We knew the situation with Harry Kane since the Manchester City debacle and saga. Spurs should have been sourcing his replacement.
Yeah.
And
I think they probably thought he's Spurs through and through. He'll never leave. Him saying, as long as you match my ambition, it's just him saying that. I think that's what they probably thought.
Well, mate, that just goes to, that's even worse.
Yeah.
That's even worse. And like Bobby just said, we've had these wonderful team around him. We've had Son in his pomp, Kane in his pomp. And we just haven't brought the players in or given the manager long enough to get a system and a philosophy. We listen. If Harry Kane leaves this football club right now, I have absolutely no animosity to that man whatsoever. No. I will clap him off. I will applaud him. If he ever turns up for buying in a Spurs shirt, I will clap him. I will sing his name. I will do everything. If there are people that turn around and put this blame solely on Harry Kane, then I just don't know what to say. It's a sad, sad day that this could be happening. I
think it probably is, like you say, for Marno's. He hasn't said, here we go, has he? He's just said that there's
it's just like the fact, listen, a few people said that, were saying it's D-Day today, blah, blah, blah. And it's all well and good for these people saying we don't. Whether you like these ITKs, trust these ITKs, follow these ITKs, believe these ITKs, no matter what happens, once Fabrizio Romano has said it, there is serious clout behind what he says. As in serious clout.
He's the only one I
now
listen
that
to
he
from
has
bits,
tweeted it, we'll have to wait and see. But that is not a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it then makes the question of predictions for the season that much harder because we don't know who our striker is. But what are your predictions and the hopes for Spurs in the coming season?
Well, I did answer this as I was quickly going on Monday, and I said my hope is to end the season with the manager we started with. That would be the first thing. I would really want us to take the domestic cup seriously.
Yeah, same here.
We have to. There is no excuse this time. There is absolutely no excuse whatsoever without no European football. The good thing with one game a week is Harry Kane. Sorry, one game a week, Harry Kane. Here I go. I can't get him out of my head. With one game a week, Postecoglou will have longer with the players on the training pitch. We'll have more time with them. The players will get obviously longer rest periods between games. Listen, if we can have a serious cup run in both competitions and improve on last season and get into top six, so we're back in Europa League at least, then that's a good building block.
Yeah,
that's a start. I hope that if results, listen, like you said, the football is going to be very attacking. It's going to be completely different to what we've been used to the last few years. This is going to take a little while to get fluid and whatever. If the results don't come at the beginning, do not blame and point fingers at Ange. Well, if you want to point the finger, kind of roughly look where Ange sits in the stadium. Get your finger and just go up just a little bit, and you'll see a man there. That's where the blame should be put, because Ian will know, and Ian raged about Ange Postecoglou more than anyone, obviously because of his connections to Celtic and seeing him at close quarters. I've loved what Ange has done since he came in. We had someone at the beginning, I think it was What's the Point as well, said the players look happy again.
Yeah.
It's Ange Postecoglou doing that. I've always backed the manager. I even backed Nuno. I will always back the manager. I'll always back the players. But this time we cannot afford to turn the heat on this manager if things don't go right straight away.
I don't think they will, because it will be attacking. It was easy to do that to a Conte, a Jose, a Nuno, because the football was so dire at the same time. I'm not sure it will be turned on Ange. Because
I'm going to counter that, Chris. I'm going to counter that because the thing is, like you said, there's lots of people that didn't want Ange Postecoglou. Said, "Oh, what's he done? He's in Celtic and he's been there and he's been here, he's been there." And I'm not saying there are sections of the fan base that are like that. They wanted the Nagelsmann or a name. So those people are chomping at the bit to go down that avenue. And if the results don't go our way, I am more worried that they'll turn on Ange before they turn on Levy. I will do everything in my power to make that not happen, as will others. And we're going to have to see.
Yeah, I mean, Ian said my reputation is fucked if Ange fails. And Bobby K is obviously very ill because he's on a lot of meds. Kane out, Richie potting 25, Ndombele 20 assists, 10 goals, Sonny with 30, Spurs third. These meds are great. And we'll end there. We'll end on Bobby K very ill and taking medicine. Thanks so much, Brian, for coming on. Always a pleasure having you on. If you've been living under a rock, you won't recognise Brian, but anyone who has been out of a rock for about 4 seconds, Tottenham on tour. What can people expect going forward?
So we did a pop-up earlier this morning. Hoping to do a couple of bits over the weekend. Me and my mate Johnny will be doing Ange management, as we're going to do after every single game this season. And next week, expect a lot from us. And Chris, it's always a pleasure. I'm going to go because my wife is calling me as we speak. Yeah. So I'm just going to end and say, everyone have a great weekend. And as always, Levy out.
Cheers, Brian. Always a pleasure having Brian on. And make sure if you're at the ground for the Shakhtar game, you go and say hello to him opposite the club shop, opposite the South Stand. And thanks to everybody in the comments. Cheers, Ian. Cheers. Cheers, Terry. What's the point? Cheers. And thanks to, like I say, thanks to everybody who added into the chat, watched, hit the like, hit the subscribe, notification bell. Really, really, really helps. And if you like a bit of magic, Chris's Magic on Wednesdays. You can catch tricks, tutorials over there, 7:30 p.m. UK time, GMT, every Wednesday. And yeah, good luck, mate. Have to go. Good show. Says, what's the point? Thank you very much. Thanks for all your comments. Have a good weekend yourself. Be back on Monday. Same show, different name. Monday night fan zone. Hopefully have a few more guests on as well, discussing hopefully a Van de Ven deal, discussing what is likely to be Harry Kane leaving. We'll be back there 7:30 p.m. GMT. Catch you there, and thanks as always for watching. And as always, come on you Spurs.
Thanks so much for watching, for everybody who joined in the live chat and added comments. Before you go, please leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, please hit that notification bell. That'll give you a notification every time we're about to go live, and it's all completely free. For those who missed the live show, you can catch this whenever you want on Let's Talk Tottenham's YouTube channel. Please also hit the like, subscribe and notification bell, and everybody please leave feedback, comments, suggestions in the comments section on the YouTube videos. For those of you who listen to the audio podcast, thank you so much for listening. Anyone who wants that audio podcast, you can pick that up wherever you get your podcast from. We're back Mondays 7:30 p.m. UK time and Fridays 12:30 p.m. UK time. Alternatively, if you go to Twitter at @LTalkTottenham, Instagram Let's Talk Tottenham Podcast, you'll find all the information there. Anyone who wants something a little bit different, also do a magic show. So I do one trick a week, which drops Wednesday 7:30 p.m. UK time. Chris's Magic on YouTube is where you'll find that. But in the meantime, come on you Spurs.